My name's Vicky and I'm going to show you how to shape. I have all of my colors separated into different layers, mostly, unless they like don't touch, then I keep them like on the same layer, like that, because they don't touch. It's okay, nothing can hurt them. And I keep all of my color layers locked if I'm not being lazy. If I'm being lazy, I'll just group all of my layers into one layer or one folder, and I'll put like a multiply layer and just shade over that really badly. But I'm not lazy tonight, so I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna start off with the skin layer always because skin is my favorite part. The tools that I use the most are the brush tool. Look at that, nice, beautiful, sexy, perfect. I love her. And the water tool. I'd never change the settings on these, and if I were to accidentally change them, I would probably die instantaneously. Probably. And I use the blur tool and the airbrush tool a lot for like little things or when I'm like touching shit up, I guess. Okay, where am I? There I am. Okay, so I color on one layer. I used to do like 50 billion layers for like one thing and it sucked. And I always go warmer because I love warm, vibrant, strong colors. I can't do pastels, I just don't know how. Okay, so I start off with my brush tool. Fucking there. And the way that I color is just like having a light hand. That's not true. I usually go in and like block in colors first. What am I saying? I'm messy. I'm messy as hell. I refine everything later. I block in where I want my shadows to be. If I want any shadows, like if I'll color super, super, super dark hair, I probably won't do shadows. I'll just stick to highlights. And then I blur. Well, I don't blur, I blend. I have the foreground, the background color? I don't fucking know my terms. I have the regular skin color as my other one, so I can like switch between them and just blend them out with a very light hand. Look at me being all light and fancy and nice and pretty. Ooh, beautiful. That looks bad. I spend a lot of time shading. Shading is my favorite part, so I'm gonna switch to the water tool because it's blendier. I spend a lot of time doing this. And it looks good. I like dragging there. Too much, what the fuck? That's nice. That looks good. I like that. Okay. So my key is to have a very light hand in the refining and just to mess around before that and switch your brush size often. Where's my big brush? There I am. For light colors. Not that big. I'm really bad at explaining how I color. I just feel things out until it looks presentable to me. My coloring is very messy, or the process at least is really messy. It's the same way I draw. Messy. Messy, messy, messy until it's not. I'm using the water tool right now. I like to keep my blending like not too soft everywhere. So like I'll go back with the brush and create an edge, a harder edge. And I go back between the two colors a lot to blend them out with the brush tool. And I just use soft, light, little strokes until I don't hate it. But I do hate it right now. Hold up. There we go. Nice. And then I'll use the wide tool if I want something softer. That's my general rule. If I want something with a bit more edge, I use my brush tool. If I want something softer, water tool. Oh, that looks gross. But, yeah. And this is basically how I do all of my shading, except when I do the clothes, I use really... No, I don't know what I'm talking about. I use harder edges when I'm doing clothing because clothing typically doesn't have a lot of soft edges in the folds and stuff like that. It typically has really definite shadows. And if I get like really into depth in my coloring, like on the shit that I do for my OCs, then I'll do like, you know, like reflected light and all that jazz. But I'm really lazy. I'm so lazy. The shading that I use from the hair shadows, that's typically a lot more solid than, like, you know, like around the nose, the eyes, when I do the lips, stuff like that. Because hair isn't that soft, like around the edges. It's got a more definite shadow to it, in most cases. In my art, at least. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. That's not right. Nope. Nope. Shit. I've spent up to like maybe an hour coloring like one thing. Just one thing. Typically the eyes, just because I like to focus on like one place coloring until it feels just right. And then I'll go and look at the airbrush if I want like very subtle shadows. God, this tool's huge. That's not so subtle. It's okay. I like it. That's all that matters. That's really pronounced, huh? It's just a lot of push and pull. I have fun with it. I feel like Bob Ross saying that. Okay. Sometimes I'll go and shade the lips like the same color as everything else, and then I'll put like a multiply layer on top of that. I should demonstrate that. Sometimes I don't. I just make a separate layer for the lips. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. I'll typically do it a lot on like dark-skinned characters. Okay, so then I'll make the multiply layer, layer clip, go in with a nice pinky color. clean up my edges. That's not how I want that to look. That's not what I want that to look like. And then I'll just do the blush on the same layer while I'm at it, because it's all pink. It's all pink. It's all good. And then I'll lower the opacity. There we go. Nice, natural, subtle, beautiful. Mwah. Then like I'll go in with like a darker color. For more depth, that's too red. I'll go in with a darker color, and I'll just keep adding darker colors until it feels right. That's my motto. Clean up my messier areas. If I feel like it, I'll just go in with the airbrush. I'll go in there, nice and smooth. It's just to add a little bit more depth to the area. And if I'm feeling really fancy, I'll go in with like a highlight. Ooh, wow. Look at that dimension. Woo! God, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. That looks right. And then I'll go in with another layer and multiply. That's not multiply. That's multiply. And I'll go in with a purpley tone or something. And I'll take a big airbrush and just very lightly. It's not that big of a difference, but I notice it. I think that's too purple. Nah, there's no such thing. I don't want it on a face though. Maybe I want a different purple. I play around a lot with the hue and saturation. Oh, that's green. Oh, I like that. That's a more reddy purple. Red-ish purple. But yeah, that's typically how I color skin. Hair is different. Like if I'm doing just like straight up black hair, I now tend to just leave it alone. Just leave it solid black and maybe go in with like a highlight. And I always color hair with just the brush tool because that gives it like the more strandy kind of look. Ah, you can't see shit. I can see shit. It's okay. It gives it a more strandy kind of look, and I'll bounce back between that and the black to give it like harder edges. But typically I'll just leave it alone. If I'm just doing like a regular brown, can you tell on the camera? Yeah, a brown, then I'll like do all of my complex ash shading. I'll take my colors, and then I'll go in and still just use the brush tool